Berlin was an island in the Cold War. Its western side was completely surrounded by the enemy, while its eastern side fought to keep its own people from crossing over. If you could make it to the west, freedom was yours. Many tried and many died. The wall separated families and friends. It broke the heart of a great city in two. It was dotted with forbidden crossings like Checkpoint Charlie and the Brandenburg Gate, and then on the night of November 9th in 1989, because of a simple mistake, they burst open in a joyous rampage, while celebrations exploded on both sides of the wall. The awesome might of the East German army and their state security apparatus, the Stasi, scrambled to take up positions and countermand the chaos new, as German East and West rushed to embrace each other for the first time since the wall had gone up. Guns were brought to bear. When the wall fell, we all knew the Cold War was over. Now, years later, this is the declassified story of why it fell. When World War II ends in 1955, there is a pact between the Soviets, the English, the French, and the Americans. The city of Berlin is divided up between them, and Germany is divided into two countries, so it cannot make war again. Rare color footage recently released from East German archives reveals Berlin's devastation. The four powers must divide a way to refine this city that was once one of Europe's most beautiful. They can agree on how to pick up the pieces. Soon, the French, British, and American sectors are collapsed into West Berlin, a half city that will become a glittering oasis of capitalism in the midst of theory East German states. Capitalists or communists, whoever can bring the city out of the ashes and make it theirs will prove the power of their ideas. This dusty battleground will be the ultimate prize and the ultimate proof of the victor of the Cold War.
The strategies of two sides are at odds. The Soviets want war reparations. The three Western allies do not. The Soviets covertly strip East Germany of tools and machinery. The United States includes West Germany in the Marshall Plan, which provides funding for rebuilding the shattered German state. The Soviets tried to turn East Germany into a showplace for their ideas about a planned centralized economy. The United States encourages capitalism and the free market. Pressure on the Soviets increases when the United States promote the Truman Doctrine, declaring that Americans will give aid and support to free peoples being pressured or dominated by armed minorities or outside pressures. Stalin begins to squeeze. He encircles West Berlin with troops, shuts off all access by land and water, and demands that the other powers withdraw their troops. Nothing goes in or out of West Berlin. The Soviets are determined to starve out the West by blockading the city. The Allies respond with one of the greatest humanitarian efforts known to man, the Berlin Airlift. Over 275,000 Allied flights catapult to Berlin, running supplies 24 hours a day. Life in West Berlin is still tough. but it is now possible to survive. The blockade of Berlin becomes a public relations disaster for the Soviets, and they are forced to abandon it in 1949. The Soviets and the East Germans allows regular transit of goods to West Berlin to resume the borders between the Soviets and free sectors are mere checkpoints. In many places, there are just white lines painted in the street. In fact, a number of East Germans work in the West since the jobs and the currency are much better. Stalin seems to be sleeping. This bold play for Berlin inspires the formation of NATO, an alliance of North Atlantic nations born to counter Soviet threats like the blockade of Berlin. The Soviets and the Americans stand toe to toe. After Stalin dies in March of 1953, Soviet boss Nikita Khrushchev again issues the ultimatums and demands for withdrawal, but the Allies stand their ground.